Commander Vex stood in the center of the training arena, her forearms flexed and ready. The reptilian warrior had never lost a combat duel in her 15 years of service to the Galactic Federation. Her scales gleamed under the harsh lights, each one a testament to countless battles won. Today, she faced what appeared to be the most underwhelming opponent yet. The human sat cross-legged on the floor, eyes closed, breathing slowly. Tom appeared unremarkable in every way average height. Lean build, no visible weapons or armor. His plain gray training clothes made him look more like a maintenance worker than a fighter. The other aliens in the observation deck whispered among themselves, wondering why their champion had requested this particular matchup. "Are you ready, human?" Vex called out, her voice carrying the authority of a seasoned warrior. Tom opened his eyes and stood up with fluid grace. "I am." The fight began immediately. Vex launched herself forward with explosive speed, her lower arms reaching for grappling holds, while her upper arms prepared devastating strikes. She had studied human anatomy extensively, their single heart. Fragile bones, limited reach. This would be over in seconds. Tom simply wasn't there. Vex's momentum carried her past empty air. She spun around, confused, to find the human standing exactly where he had been before. He hadn't dodged backward or sideways. He had somehow moved through the space she occupied without being touched. "Impossible," she muttered, then attacked again. This time she came from 3 angles simultaneously, using her superior limb count to create an inescapable net of strikes. Tom moved like water between her attacks, never seeming to hurry, never appearing stressed. Each of Vex's devastating blows missed by the smallest possible margin. The crowd above fell silent. They had come to watch their champion demolish another. Weak human, but something else was happening entirely. Vex increased her speed, calling upon combat techniques that had felled opponents twice her size. Her 4 arms became a blur of motion, each strike capable of shattering steel. Tom continued his strange dance, moving with an economy of motion that seemed to mock her efforts. Then something changed. Tom began to move differently. Instead of simply avoiding her attacks, he started to guide them. A gentle touch on her wrist redirected a punch into empty air. A slight shift of his body caused her kick to overextend, throwing her off balance. He was using her own force against her. What manner of fighting is this? Vex demanded, breathing heavily for the first time in years. "It's called Aikido," Tom replied calmly. "But that's just one part of it." Vex had never heard the term, but she understood its effects well enough. Every attack she launched was being turned into a disadvantage. Her superior strength meant nothing if it couldn't connect. Her extra arms became liabilities as Tom somehow made her strike herself. Desperate, Vex activated her species' natural combat enhancement. Her scales hardened into armor, her muscles swelled with chemical boosters, and her reaction time doubled. She became a living weapon, moving faster than most beings could even perceive. Tom smiled. The human's movement changed again. Now he wasn't just avoiding or redirecting, he was attacking. His strikes came from impossible angles, targeting nerve clusters and pressure points that Vex didn't even know she possessed. Each touch was precise, gentle, and absolutely devastating. Her left arm went numb, then her right leg. Tom moved around her enhanced form like he was dancing with a partner, never meeting force with force, always finding the perfect angle, the perfect moment, the perfect pressure point. Within moments, the mighty Galactic Federation champion found herself on the ground, completely paralyzed but uninjured. Tom knelt beside her, his expression kind. "The paralysis will fade in a few minutes," he said softly. "I'm sorry if I embarrassed you." Vex stared up at him, her mind reeling. "How? I am the strongest warrior in 3 sectors. I have training in 47 combat disciplines." I have 4 arms, natural armor, chemical enhancement. Tom helped her sit up as feeling began to return to her limbs. You do have all those advantages, he agreed. But you're thinking about fighting like it's about strength and speed and weapons. It isn't? Sometimes. But humans learn to fight in a different way. We've been the weakest species on our planet for most of our existence. We couldn't outrun the predators or overpower them, so we learned to think. Vex flexed her fingers as the paralysis continued to fade. Think? Every movement has a weakness. Every strength creates a vulnerability. Every attack opens a defense. We learned to see the patterns, to understand the flow of combat itself. Tom stood and offered her his hand. Your 4 arms are incredibly powerful, but they also create 4 times as many opportunities for leverage and redirection. The alien warrior accepted his help, rising to her feet with new respect. You studied me. I studied fighting. You just happened to be fighting. Tom smiled again. Your species has incredible natural gifts, but you've become dependent on them. Humans had to become dependent on something else. What? Adaptation, learning, growing beyond our limitations instead of just accepting them. Vex looked around. The silent arena, then back at the unassuming human who had just defeated the Federation's champion without throwing a single traditional strike. Would you teach me? Tom nodded. I'd be honored to. As they walked toward the exit together, Vex realized that she had learned more about combat in 10 minutes than in her previous 15 years of training. The human way of fighting wasn't just about technique, it was about understanding the very nature of conflict itself. Behind them, the crowd of alien observers sat in stunned silence, finally beginning to understand why humans had earned their place among the stars despite their apparent physical limitations. Sometimes, the greatest strength was knowing how to use weakness itself as a weapon.